Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape,
vinyl tape, carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. Listen, every time I get a chance to hear about brothers talking about redemption and reentry, my heart goes out to them. It goes out to their story. And so once again, without fail, I've got another brother I want to bring to the platform to talk about his story, right? Brother Henry, or Nyene, as I'm told. Brother Nyene, welcome to the platform. How are you today, sir?
I'm splendid, Mr. Kevin. Thank you very much for having me, inviting me on your platform.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's start with the name. What does the name Nyene mean?
Nyene is a Liberian name.
Yes.
It's in my dad's tribe. My dad's tribe is called Gribble. So
Gribble, yes.
In the Gribble tribe, it means my name.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk more about that as we go through the story. But what is the current business that you're running now?
Okay, so right now, I have a real estate group, real estate business that I have off the ground, and I'm basically, pursuing that right now. So
Okay.
basically, I'm doing. Well, let me take that back. Basically, first of all, the name is Visionary Realty Group,
Yes.
LLC,
Yes.
and I'm doing wholesaling.
Yes.
So right now, I'm in the Baltimore area, and basically, I'm working on trying to, strike my first wholesale deal.
Now, when you say wholesale, what does that mean? That means that you're buying blocks of homes and you're selling them as is, or you're doing one home at a time?
No, so basically, wholesaling is basically, I'm being the middleman between the seller and the buyer.
Gotcha.
And the buyers are known as cash buyers or investors.
Gotcha.
So if a seller, who's selling their property, let's say for example, they're selling their property for $100,000,
Yes.
and I come to them and say, "How you doing, seller? You're selling your property for $100,000, right?" And
Yes.
they say yes. I'll find a cash buyer who would be interested in buying that property. So let's just say I'll usually do the numbers and allow the cash buyer to have 30% profit once they purchase the property through me, which I will assign to the cash buyer.
Gotcha.
So let's say the after repair value is $200,000 that the seller has.
Yes.
So let's say I would put on a fee for me doing all the crunching all the numbers and everything. I will put on a fee. So let's just say I put on, let's just say, a $10,000 fee. So I'll assign the property for $110,000 to the cash buyer. So the seller would get his $100,000, and I would get my $10,000 at the closing. And then let's say that cash buyer sells the property for let's just say $200,000.
Yes.
Basically, he'll make a $80,000 profit.
Got you. So you're doing all the due diligence. You're doing
Exactly.
You're doing the title search. You're doing all that for them.
They're going to do their due diligence as well. So they'll do the title research and everything. But I'm basically doing all the numbers, like the comps, the estimate repairs and things like that. So when I come to them, they know how much the potential of the profit inside this deal for them.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And so, how long have you done this business?
I've been doing it. I want to say since about 2020, 21.
Okay. And so, although this is your business, did you have a mentor to help you out with this business, or how did you come about? I guess why did you say I wanted to start this business?
Okay, so it started way back. I want to say 2009. I had a friend who has his real estate business, and
Yes.
I seen he was successful with doing wholesaling.
Yes.
So he inspired me to want to start my real estate business, and he recommended that back then in 2009 that I go to real estate school, and
Yes.
I had went to Princeton Real Estate School in 2009, and I wanted to basically not be a real estate agent, but I wanted to be an investor. So I went to school for the knowledge, and a friend of mine who went to school along with me, a friend that I was dating at the time, a female friend that I was dating at the time, she went, I had a plan, and basically she wanted in on the plan, and she was going to be the real estate agent, I was going to be the investor. So once we finished the school and we passed the test, the next step was to get our real estate license. But like I said, I didn't want to become a real estate agent. I wanted to become an investor. So I got the knowledge, but then things happened, and I eventually bought a duplex property.
Got you.
And everything, but then some things happened, and everything was the plans went left, if you will.
Yeah. I got you. All right. So this is good. You're in the Baltimore, D.C. area, the DMV, as they like to say. And how did because when we were prepping for this, I said I was going to ask you to talk about your latest business venture, but let's really talk about how this started, because I know that Baltimore is not where you grew up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Trenton, New Jersey, North Trenton to be exact.
Yes, brother. That's the part we want to talk about. You grew up in Trenton, New Jersey. How did you make your way to Baltimore? And we've got time. we got time, beloved, because again, the platform, right? The platform, we want to give you the opportunity to tell your story. And so the story is the story, but the end is just as good as the beginning. And we want folks to know that life has its ups and downs, and life can be ever changing, right? If you just hold on to your dreams and your desires, no matter what. So take it away, brother. I gave you the intro. Talk to me. So we're
Okay.
we're in
All
we're
right.
in, we're in we're in Trenton, New Jersey, right?
All right.
You're in North
Yes.
Trenton. Okay, talk to me.
So I was raised out North Trenton with my two older sisters who are named One Way and Nyene Baker, and my two parents. They are immigrants from Liberia, and basically we lived out on Trent Avenue,
Yes.
and that's off a street off of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Yes.
So we went to school. We went to Catholic school, to be exact, out in North Trenton. The Catholic school name was St. James.
Yes.
So we went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school from 1st to 8th grade. And when me and my sisters would walk to school, we would see drug needles, drug paraphernalia, drug capsules. And, we would see all of these things on the ground. And as we walked down to school, we would pass down the blocks, and I would hear slang from drug dealers and, other people in the neighborhood. And walking to school from 1st to 8th grade, I absorbed, all of this slang, and I used to recite it as a kid.
Yes.
And then this slang eventually became my vernacular.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So, my parents were strict, which was a good thing, but I couldn't see the good in that at the time.
Yes.
We would get out of school at 2:30. My dad was so strict; he wanted us back at home by 2:45.
Yes.
And if we weren't back home at 2:45, we was getting a butt whooping, and we got plenty of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, my whole life took a turn in 5th grade when my dad went back to Liberia.
Yes.
There was a barbershop at the corner of my street, and it was called June's Barbershop.
Yes.
Uncle June, that's my hero. I used to be in Uncle June's Barbershop a lot, and a lot of drug dealers used to be inside and out of Uncle June's Barbershop, making drug sales and things like that. So I would see them pulling out money, pulling out drugs and things like that. So I used to study them.
Okay.
So one day, me and my sisters were at the kitchen table. That's where we used to study. Actually, we call the Liberians, we call it study our lesson. So
Yes.
study our lesson means doing our homework.
Yes.
So I had came to the table. I had got 20 change for a 20 from Uncle June, and he gave me 21. So I had the 21, and prior to me coming in the kitchen, I had went in the bathroom and grabbed the aspirin bottle and crushed all the aspirins and put it into a plastic a sandwich bag.
Yes.
And so I came in the kitchen. I sat down for like a minute. Then I stood up and I told my sisters, I pulled out my big knot of 20s, and I pulled out the bag of crushed aspirins in powder form, and I said, I'm going to be a drug dealer. And they started laughing.
Yes.
So eventually I became this drug dealer. Words are powerful.
But let me stop you right there, because, man, I've got to ask you a question, and I know I'm going to sound stupid. What were you predisposed to becoming a drug dealer, or was the lure so great that it had a hold on you that it was just slowly but surely, like just dragging you in?
Okay, so let me paint a clearer picture, and I apologize for not making it clearer. My environment was drug infested.
Yes.
Crime ridden, full of violence. Right. My street, was it was heavy drug activity
Yes.
on my street and the corner of my street. And keep in mind, whether I walk to the store or whether I walk to school, with me doing that, I seen plenty of, illegal drug activity.
Gotcha.
So it's like you could not stray away from it.
Got you.
You've
Okay.
seen it no matter what.
Got you.
So being though I used to get a haircut at Uncle June's barbershop, even though Uncle June had nothing to do with the drug selling, but it just so happened that's the environment, and the drug dealers were in and out of his barbershop.
Yeah.
And I, basically, was a witness to this.
Yes.
So it was like a movie. I'm watching it. I didn't need to watch Scarface
Yeah.
to want to have those aspirations.
Gotcha.
My environment did enough of that.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But go ahead. Wow.
So like I said, I eventually became a drug dealer, and like I said, I'm in the 5th grade, and my mind is already corrupted,
Got you.
and and I'm a kid,
Yes.
so that's how powerful my environment was, and that's how powerful the illegal activity was. It had already corrupted my mind as a 5th grader.
Wow.
So it's just like how they say, if I was in an environment full of lawyers and tax accountants and other professionals, then maybe I probably would have wanted to be those professionals.
Yes.
But being though that's all I saw, I was corrupted as a kid,
Now,
and I fell victim, already at an early age. So moving on,
hold on.
once my dad went back.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Now, you're saying that you saw this in 5th grade. You're being slowly drug into this. Did you see the other side of it, like the shootings and folks dying in front of you? Did you see that part? Was there at any point did you say, "Man, I see this, but I also see this"? Did you ever see that part?
All right. So even I was seeing this like as far back as I can remember, I was seeing all of this like the drug dealing and illegal activity starting from 1st grade. Because keep in mind, we walked to school every day,
Yeah.
starting from the first grade.
Yeah.
So I would see drug activity, drug users ODing because they sold dope and cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, when I say dope, I mean heroin.
Yep.
They sold heroin and cocaine on my street, and it was an alleyway next door to my house,
Wow.
and they sold it in the alleyway. And then, all down Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard,
Yes.
it was, illegal drug activity going on. So like I said, as I'm walking to school, all of this is going on. So I was enduring this, all the way, starting at 1st grade. But to answer your question, I didn't see any killings or shootings until I want to say maybe, 8th grade, which I will get to, is when I seen my first murder.
Wow. Wow. Now, so you're going to school every day, but then you're coming home every day, and so there's got to be like this conflict going on, right? Like what do I do, or you just say this is what it is?
Well, I'm a kid, so
Yeah.
I wasn't in control to say what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So only thing I could do is just go with the flow. You know?
Gotcha. I mean, I don't want to sound ignorant because
No. I love the questions. I'm going to give you the honest to God truth of what was going on in my head. You know, and what I could control.
Yeah.
And what was the best thing to go about it. But yeah, as a kid, I didn't even think about controlling it because, as a kid in my head, I'm like, this is life.
Yeah.
I don't even, a thought of trying to get out wasn't even an option because I'm a kid. I didn't even know that this wasn't,
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be in this kind of environment because I'm a kid,
When you mentioned the aspirin, right? That reminded me of my cousin, and his first foray into, the drug industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got a small amount of cocaine, but then did a whole bunch of baby powder and aspirins, and he started selling that. And then he went to the oregano, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of oregano with a little bit of marijuana, and he started selling that.
Uh-huh.
And he did that until he can get connections with the big boys. And
Right.
then once he got his connection with the big boys, he did the I guess the mortal sin. He got caught up on his own supply, and so
Right.
now he was using his own supply and trying to, and having to pay that back. But I digress. But I'm sorry. But go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, after my dad left, I started to get in trouble. I was playing basketball,
Yes.
by the way, and I was good at basketball. So I used to lie to my mom, and tell her, like I said, she was even strict. So I used to lie to her. And being though my dad left, I knew I was going to be able to get over on my mom. So I used to use basketball practice as an excuse to, get out the house. So I would lie to my mom and tell her I'm going to basketball practice. But lo and behold, I would be around the corner in a project called Downley Homes.
Oh yes.
And I would be out there with some friends and just experiencing a total new dysfunctional world, which was fun to me because it was no action going on at my house.
Yeah.
I had, compared to what was going on over there at the time, it was peace at my house. But even though it was dysfunctional in the project, it was fun to me because I was an immature kid and I was, restricted from basically the outside world, which was a good thing. But like I said, I couldn't see the good in that. When we came home, we had to, find something to eat and then study our lesson all the way till it was time to go to bed. And we couldn't really watch TV during the week. Only time we really could watch TV if my mom, maybe she pulled the shift from 3 p.m. to 11 and she wasn't there. And then, of course, we doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, I would, roam in the projects and Downley Homes, or I would go somewhere around Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and roam the street. So by sixth grade, I'm already on probation.
Wow.
And then seventh grade, I get in trouble. I had gotten to a stolen car, and I got arrested for that. And by eighth grade, I had and prior to eighth grade, I was getting bullied.
Okay.
I was getting bullied. I had heart, but I didn't have 100% heart as I have now. But I was getting bullied, kids. Being though I was African, kids and older kids in the neighborhood and things like that would be calling me African booty scratcher and things like that. That was the famous disgrading name back then, back in the 80s and 90s. And people used to bully me and stuff like that. So I had eighth grade. I had the biggest fight of my life at that time, and it was with rest in peace, an older guy that was maybe about 4 or 5 years older than me. His name is Billy Boy, and he tried to take my radio. Well, hey, let me take that back. He did take my radio. So when he took it, I had hit him with a 2-piece, and I almost knocked him out. But he held his composure. He didn't go down, and we were on these basketball courts out North Trenton and Helen Full, and he charged me full force, and he went for my ankles, and he scooped me up and threw me right on my face, and I hit the ground face first. Now keep in mind, I'm about 14 years old at this time. In the eighth grade, it was about it's summertime going to the ninth. And when I laid on the ground for about maybe 3 to 4 seconds, I got up when I got up, my face was bleeding, and I looked at my homeboy. I told him, at that time, the slang, I told him, let's bounce. So, let's bounce, to anybody that's listening that don't know what bounce means. Bounce means, basically, let's go,
Yeah.
So my best friend, one of my best friends lived around the corner. So I went to his house, and when he seen me, he said, what happened? And I had told him, I was in a fight. So he started cleaning me up, because my face was all scarred up from hitting the ground face first. And the whole time I wasn't worrying about the pain. I was worrying about the lie that I was going to tell my mom what happened to me. Because, like I said, my mom was so strict, I couldn't tell my mom that I was fighting. I would get a beating for that. If anybody understands me, my mom's African, like she's strict, and I can't tell her I was fighting. So I eventually came up with the lie. You know what I'm gonna tell her? I said, my best friend said, man, just tell her you was fighting. I said, I can't tell her that.
Yeah.
She'll beat me. And I said, I got it. I know what I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her I was playing basketball, and I tripped, and I fell on my face. And I said, I got it. I'm out, man. I'm out. I'm going home now. So when I got home, I told my mom what happened. She was like, she wasn't trying to hear it.
Yeah.
She wasn't buying it. She knew I was lying, but she couldn't prove me wrong. But she still, had doubt that I was lying. So I didn't get a beating, by the way. So moving on, ninth grade, I was sent to Alabama. Me and my sister were sent to Alabama. Eventually, we went to a boarding school, and I eventually, made my way back because I didn't like.
Now, you went to the boarding school as a way to kind of save your life.
Exactly.
Got you.
And I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't even see the good in that.
Got you. Got you. So,
And
so you're in boarding school, and you were about to say that you were there, but you were slowly but surely making your way back home up to Trenton.
Yeah, actually, I did. There's no slowly but surely. I did. So what happened? I was in Bruton, Alabama. Me and my older sister. She's 2 years older than me. So we were down there, and I was homesick. My first time ever being away from Trenton. I was homesick, and at this time, I'm in love with this female that I was dating at the time. So I'm homesick, and I'm away. I want to come back. So it was a big fight. So this was my breakaway to come back. It was a big fight, and we had a fight in the gym. With it was a local gang that was in Bruton, Alabama. They were called Folk. They called them Folk at the time. So I used that fight as an excuse. And when I told you, I sold my mom that excuse to get back. I sold it to her like a politician.
Gotcha.
So I told her it's not safe. It's dangerous down here, because I'm not gonna lie. The next day, some of the guys, from that gang came on the campus with some guns.
Yes.
They didn't, use it or anything, but for the simple fact that they did, I used that excuse as leverage.
Got you.
So, I told my mom the story. She bought it, and she sent my ticket, and I was on the next Greyhound.
You and your sister, or just you?
No, just me, and I left my sister.
Oh, okay.
And and it's crazy because as I got older, I never thought about how she felt at that time, but I thought about it and I felt bad. I was like, man, I left my sister. That wasn't good. I didn't think about that at that time.
Yes.
But yeah, I left my sister. She ended up graduating as well too.
Okay.
But yeah, so I felt bad about that, leaving her. But yeah, so I come back, and I went to McCorston School. So I went to McCorston, but I only went to McCorston for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Reason why I ended up getting kicked out of McCorston, I was at a prep rally at McCorston, and I threw a stink bomb at the prep rally. I got someone told on me. I got suspended,
Yes.
and I was on a 3-day suspension, and I came back. So when I came back to school, my peers were telling me, "Oh, we know who told on you, this and that." So they putting the battery in my back, and me, all immature, not knowing what they're doing, saying, telling me, that they know who told on me or whatever. So I get furious, and I go smack the guy who allegedly told on. I don't even know. I'm so immature. I don't even know if he told on me or not. And I'm just listening to these guys, and of course, I had got some advice from my some of my friends. They were like, "Don't do it, don't do it." And me, I'm very hard headed, and I did it. I went and smacked the guy, and I got kicked out.
Wow.
And my mom lost out on $2,500 because if you're there for 2 weeks, then if you do get kicked out, you don't get that $2,500. That you paid. And I felt bad. Up to this day, I still feel bad. That I was the cause of my mom losing her $2,500.
Now let me ask this question. So you're at McCorston, right? Now, and you're still living on Trent Avenue.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. So your environment has not changed.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I forgot to tell you was after that fight with Billy Boy, I want to say like a week later, I was going to work because I had a job. I said a summer job.
Yes.
And I was going to work, and as I was walking down Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, I see Billy Boy and another guy running. So the guy caught up with Billy Boy, and Billy Boy's the guy that threw me on my face.
Yes.
And the guy caught up with Billy Boy. He stabbed him. And, the paramedics was called and everything like that. When they came, they put Billy Boy on the stretcher. I had, went to go look at Billy Boy, and I could see that he had passed away. And that was so hurtful, man, because me and Billy Boy, despite our fight, we were cool,
Yep.
We were cool. So I want to say a day after we had fought, I had seen him, and he was across the street, and I was I was across the street, and it was a distance. We didn't speak in words, but he seen me from a distance, and he gave me a nod, and that nod was basically a sign of respect, and because of the fight that we had.
Yeah. And
that was the last, time that I would engage. We would engage and lock eyes on each other. I locked eyes on him when he, had basically passed away on the corner of actually it's our block name on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard called 682 when he was on that stretcher, and I could see that he had passed away. So that was my first witness of my first time witnessing a murder.
Wow.
Like I said, that was the 8th grade. I was going to the 9th grade, the summertime. And that was 1993. That was my first time, witnessing a murder. So like I said, this is, in my environment, this is what's going on. And, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So I just wanted to say that, because I had, forgot about that. And, can you imagine, I'm a kid or whatever, but I took it well. When you I can speak for myself when I'm being, growing up in that kind of environment, and I still went to work, and actually I didn't even talk to nobody about it. I don't know. Other kids probably would have traumatized them. I'm not sure, but I felt bad, but, I don't know. I guess I'm just strong, or it just, life just kept moving,
Yeah. Well, I think everybody experiences trauma in a different format, in a different way. Perhaps you never did, right? So we don't know. But I guess the real question is, while you're going through this process and you know that this is wrong, are you trying to align yourself with gangs, or are you in a gang at that time? Do you have people around you to kind of protect you and watch your back? I mean, what's going on with that part?
Okay, so around this time, there are no gangs. There were no gangs in Trenton.
Okay.
So, I'm playing basketball around this time. So, like I said, I basically, I had heart. I just didn't have the full confidence in myself as far as fighting or whatever. But I was still respected. At this time, I was still getting bullied. I'm not gonna lie, I was still getting bullied in some, certain areas in my neighborhood and things like that. And but when like I said, I went to Catholic school, so basically, I had respect at Catholic school, but I was getting bullied by mostly the public school guys, the
Gotcha.
public school guys and the guys in the neighborhood, the drug dealers and stuff like that. So, basically that's where I would get bullied at. The guys that some of the guys, some of my peers, childhood friends.
When you say bully, what was their form of bullying? Would they beat you up? Would they intimidate you? Would they take?
Yeah, I say, for example, if we play, I'm gonna give you a prime example. We playing basketball, and I'm playing basketball with some guys in the neighborhood, things like that. They would just basically make jokes, about me, just belittle me, talk to me any kind of way. Or if we playing basketball, they might, try to elbow me and stuff like that, try to take advantage of me like that, things like that. And then I'd be like, man, I said, for example, I might be like, man, and they be like, what? What I'm saying? They might be like, what you going to do? And then, I might back down. So that's an example,
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So yeah, so I got expelled from McCorston. So now I'm up Trent High now. I'm happy because I always wanted. It was a dream to go to Trent High. Got you.
So finally that dream came true, and now I'm up Trent High, and it's a fashion show. And and to be honest, I felt out of place because don't get me wrong, my mom did the best, for me and my sisters. But she wasn't buying no name brand clothes on a regular and sneakers and all that. Every once in a while we would get, a name brand sneakers, maybe on our birthday or something like that. But she made sure, we went to good schools and we had a roof over our head and we had food to eat. But other than that, all that name brand clothes and name brand sneakers, you can forget that, So it was a lot of temptation up Trent High. I eventually, I played my freshman year up at Trent High. I played basketball for.
Now you said temptation. What kind of temptation? With fashion? I mean, like what kind of temptation?
Okay. So school? Temptation. What I meant, for example, there were a lot of people, around my age or maybe a few years older than me. They started, they started selling drugs. So they were, buying a lot of name brand and fancy clothes, right?
Gotcha.
And being though I'm at Trenton High now, every day you gotta, you have to come with different clothes every day. And I didn't my gear wasn't up to par,
Gotcha.
So I might fall short, let's say if it's 5 days a week, I might have 3 or 4 outfits.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And they definitely wasn't no name brand. So, so it's a lot of temptation. Like I'm seeing guys, coming through with, name brand clothes. And I'm like, man, I feel out of place. So when I say temptation, I'm like, man, these guys got these name brand clothes and things like that. Here it is. I'm struggling to have five different outfits for the week.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, what do I do? I'm not working. I'm not even old enough to work.
Yeah.
So when I say temptation, do I, come to the guys around the neighborhood and be like, yo, man, how can I get some of those clothes and things like that? So all of these things are coming to my head, and it's very close because, like I said, I've been watching, drug dealers sell drugs all my life on my street and stuff. So now here it is. I'm in the 9th grade. Like, what do? You want to look at people dressing or and wearing new clothes, or you going to just sacrifice those few outfits that you have and settle for what you have. And this is like one of the number one temptations that I was going through, and eventually I fell victim. I just couldn't just take the temptation anymore, and I fell victim to going to the streets at my freshman year. So I was around a lot of negative people. Trenton High, I'm not going to say was 100% negative, but different circles. If you go to I would go in different circles, and all those circles, it was only negative conversations. So these negative conversations led to negative thinking. And what I'm about to say is, I'm gonna give you an example. One day I see a Spanish kid. He got on a nice gold chain. So you know what I do? I go snatch the chain off the kid's neck.
Wow.
And I start running. This is at Trenton High.
Yeah.
So, and I'm hating, because when you take something from someone, that's hating. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even my temperament, but I'm giving you the example of how just how the negative, environment, the negative circles, and how it can,
that
portray
energy,
in your life.
Yeah, how that energy got up on you.
Right.
Got you.
Exactly.
I got you.
And at this time, how I'm thinking, and I'm giving you what I'm thinking in my mind, right? This kid got a nice gold chain. I want instant gratification. And like the great Tracy Southfax once said to me, we had a breakfast meeting about stop the violence, giving our ideas about the, how can we help the youth. Tracy said, you know what, a lot of, in society where a lot of people want instant gratification. They want things to pop off right away, like microwave popcorn.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I wanted. When I seen that chain, I wanted that chain right now. I don't want to wait till I get in college to get a job, to work honestly to get that chain. I want that chain right now, and that's what was going through my mind. If you ask me, what was going through your mind when you snatched that kid's chain? I wanted a chain, and I wanted it right now, and I snatched it. It's not funny, but that was what was going on in my mind.
Gotcha.
And I wanted instant gratification, and I grabbed this chain and snatched it as I ran I ran outside, and I ran into the principal. He was outside, Mr. Ramsey at the time that was the principal.
Mm-hmm.
And he called up on some security guards on their walkie-talkies. And long story short, they grabbed me and they arrested me. And they used to have a police station in Trenton High, and they took me to Raymond Young. Raymond Young started yelling, and anybody know Raymond Young? He wasn't playing no games. They were almost about to send me to the youth house, but it wasn't no room. So they charged me, and eventually that got on my juvenile record, my extensive juvenile record. So moving on, I started selling drugs my freshman year, and let me tell you how I want to basically tell the world how karma how karma is. Yep. So karma comes my way. I'm selling drugs, the next year, 94 in Downley Homes, and I'm selling crack cocaine to this couple. So I'm in the hallway selling drugs to this female, and her boyfriend at the time, comes in the hallway with a big 40-ounce bottle. Now, you know how big a big and thick a 40-ounce bottle is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the guy comes in. Soon he comes in the hallway. Boom! He smashes me in the face with that 40-ounce bottle. The whole bottle broke on my face. God said, there you go. You want to snatch people's chains? Take that.
Wow.
I falls to the ground, and when I fell to the ground, he went in my pockets, took my money, and he took my he took my drugs. I was on the ground for about like 4 or 5 seconds. I got up. My face was bleeding because, like I said, the 40-ounce bottle broke on my face. So glass, broke on my face. It cut my face, everything. But I got up. I'm a warrior. But keep in mind, I'm 15 at this time. But can you imagine a 15-year-old kid getting smashed in the face with a 40-ounce bottle?
Can't even imagine. But but again, that's the expectation. I don't want to sound cavalier, but that's the expectation that you got to know it's coming, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling the world, what I didn't say is, and this is what I tell the youth when I speak, because I do motivational speaking. I tell the youth when you first start doing illegal activity, whether it's your first drug sale or whether it's your first credit card scam or your first robbery, anything. Once you begin that, you begin your karma. You know what I'm saying? Karma starts right, even though, karma is going to just come regularly. You know what I mean? Just being a human being. But when you add more karma to your life, when you do your first anything illegal, that karma begins. And that is an example of karma coming right back to me. So anyway, I get up, and I'm bleeding. And once again, I went home. My mom was working at the time because she worked the late night shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So once again, I'm thinking of a lie to tell my mom. I'm supposed to be in the house, sleep. Getting ready for school in the morning. So I'm like, all right, what I'm going to tell my mom. So I come up with a lie to tell my mom in the morning. She comes, I meet her. I meet her, by the gate. She pulls up. She see my face. My face is all cut up, man. It's cut up. Just imagine all that glass, broke on my face. So she just screamed and said, Jim, because they call me Junior, but she's saying in her, in her Liberian, accent, Junior, what happened? So I tell her, Mommy, I'm taking out the trash, and somebody tried to rob me, and they smashed me in the face with a 40-ounce bottle. My mom said, that lie, you lying. so she's like, okay, since somebody tried to rob me, I'm gonna call the police. So she called the police. So now she calling my bluff. Now she done put me in a bad predicament, right? She done called the police now, and the police came. They like, I'm a juvenile, so they like, what happened? And I'm like, man, somebody tried to rob me. Who was? I'm like, nah, I don't know who was it. So she like, well, so he's like, well, we're gonna take you down to the police station, and we want you to look at. We're gonna give you some pictures and see if you can recognize the person, the guy that did it or whatever. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, man, my mom got me in some, some nonsense. It's against, what I stand for and my code to even be in a situation like this. But my mom got me in it, but I got myself in it because I lied. So being I'm a juvenile, my mom don't put me in this situation, but in all reality, I got myself in this situation. So anyway, we go down to the police station. They flip and they open the photo book, and they like going one by one. I'm looking at criminals, pictures of criminals or whatever from Trenton. So they like, was it him? I'm like, no. Was it him? No. Was it him? No. So they going through it maybe 5-10 minutes. I'm like, no. even if I would have seen, and I'm being honest, even if I would have seen the guy, a picture of the guy, I would have said no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, they got tired and they was like, you know what? Thank you for wasting our time. All right, you can go. So my mom, you know, she, you know, we come back home or whatever. So anyway, that guy hid on another part of town because every day, I kid you not, every day I was looking for him. He smashed me in the face with a 40 ounce. I wanted my revenge. So finally, he hid for about 90 days. I used to be asking for him, looking for him, and stuff like that. So he hid for about 90 days, 3 months. And after 3 months, I finally caught up with him. My homeboy, Peanut, he was from Dolly Homes. He was a little bit older than me. And being though he was from Dolly Homes, I told him and my best friend, I said, come around the corner with me. And I brought my boy Peanut from Dolly Homes with me because he was from Dolly Homes. So I said, come with me just in case, you know, people from Dolly Homes try to jump me. Even though I'm from North Trenton or whatever, you know, but the guy that smashed me in the face, he's from Dolly Homes. Mm-hmm. So when I got there, I kid you not, Mr. Kevin, I beat that guy so bad. For one, he didn't get a chance to hit me, and two, he didn't even swing. But I got my revenge.
Gotcha.
So, you know, also one thing I want to go ahead.
Did you get your product back?
Nah. But I wasn't I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about just beating the brakes off of him more than anything. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Yeah.
You worried about your reputation. Got you.
Right.
Gotcha.
And you know, and how he made me feel. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because he smashed me like that was real dirty. To smash me in the face with a 40-ounce bottle. And this is what goes on in the jungle. And I had to, you know, adapt to my environment. You know, this what made me a beast going through the things that I went through. So moving on, you know, later on that summer, I had a big fight. Actually, it started because I was down Calwater Park, and me and one of my close friends, we were down there playing a 2-on-2 basketball game at Calwater Park. So my friend that was on my team, he had got into it with the other guy that we were playing. You know, it was trash talking, and you know, words were exchanging. Next thing you know, they end up fighting. So my man got the best of him, and his cousins jumped in. So it became a big riot, a big war. And these guys were from out West Trenton. And like I said, we were at Calwater Park. So the fight escalated onto Stuyvesant Avenue. And, you know, it's an all-out war. We're fighting and everything like that. Next thing you know, somebody hit me, stole me from the side. When I say they stole me, I mean, you know, they sucker punched me from the side, you know. So they almost knocked me out. But I didn't go down, and I caught my composure. And when I got my senses together, and I looked to the side, I see my one of my close friends, my man Dion True, and I looked at him, and I seen guys coming from projects and the other end of Stuyvesant. Man, these guys was forming like an army of ants, right? I told Dion, I said, hey man, we gotta run, man. We got to go. We done did, we know everything we could do. We got to go now. Yeah. So we started running down the Stuyvesant, and as we started running, a guy tried to run up on us. So Dion was shorter than me, even though we were, you know, the same age. But it was always my duty, and especially that time, for me to protect Dion, because the guy, like I said, a guy was running up on us. So when he ran up on us, I put my poles up and had my hands up, and once the guy seen I was out, I meant business, he backed up, you know. So we ended up running to Mercer Hospital right there on Rutherford and Bellevue Avenue, because I had to go there because somehow I cut my by my wrist and thumb. So I ended up having to get surgery. So I had to go to the hospital and stuff like that. So after that, you know, my mom, like I said, I was a juvenile. So before they could even give me the surgery, I had to call my mom. My mom had to come, you know, for them to perform the surgery because, like I said, I was a juvenile at the time. So once again, I had to lie to my mom and tell her, I was playing basketball and I injured myself playing basketball, So fast forward, my mom, she was just tied up, just tired of me just getting into trouble. And her and my dad, they came up with this big scheme to trick me to go into Liberia.
Gotcha.
She asked me, hey, do you want to, go to Liberia for a week and you and your dad come back after that week? I was like, yeah, I was excited. I ain't seen my dad in 4 years, and we're coming back. So I fall for the trick, and I went to Liberia August 28th. Actually, that was the same day that Biggie Smalls had dropped his album Ready to Die. So I get to Liberia, when the first thing, when we got settled, I asked my dad, where's the round trip ticket? So my dad said, what round trip ticket? You ain't going nowhere. So I looked, right? Where we were. We were at his sister's house, and there was a long road. And I looked down that road. I put my head down. I said, dang, man, I ain't never going back to America. So, I was stressed out or whatever. But I want to say this. The mind state that I had when I first went to Africa, I was in an ignorant state of mind because of how society had indoctrinated me. Basically what I mean by that, Africa was beautiful. Liberia was beautiful. Beautiful people, beautiful places. It was nothing as it was depicted to be on TV.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I was in clubs, and at the time, like I said, Biggie Smalls' album had dropped. They was playing Biggie's hit songs, Juicy and One More Chance, and I was enjoying myself. I had a good time. I stayed there for a year. I went through ups and downs in Liberia. Our country was in a civil war at that time. It was ceasefire, and what I mean by ceasefire is it was war, but it was basically it was on halt. It wasn't anything going at the moment. It was off and on, things would go on, but we were still at war. So I stayed there a year. I did my 10th grade year there, and I eventually skanked my way back. So if you got time, I can dive into that if you want to tell you what happened. Okay, so basically how I got back, I was exposed to the minerals that we have in our country and on the continent of Africa, which was gold dust. One of them was gold dust. So I had got some money sent over to me from America from my family, and one of my uncles, he was doing business selling the gold dust from Liberia to America. So he was doing pretty good with it. So basically I wanted in on the business, but I just wanted to just get the ticket money, enough to get the ticket money and go back to America. So what I did, me and my cousin, my older cousin, we had sent the gold dust. This was before Bin Laden had did what he did in 9/11. Back then, you can send things from basically, let's say Liberia or anywhere in Africa through the mail or whatever, and it would get there. So I had sent the gold dust to my uncle. So he was supposed to sell the gold dust and give me and my cousin thousands of dollars, right?
Yes.
So he comes back with a sob story that me and my cousin at the time, he was deported. And me and my situation being, I was born in America, so I wasn't deported. I just was, tricked on, to going to Liberia. So he said, basically, my mom and his dad, don't give them the full money of what you made or whatever, because they're going to try to get their way back to America or whatever. So he said, all I have for y'all is $300. So I said, as my uncle, I couldn't really get mad or whatever. So I said, okay. So what I told my cousin was, I said, look, this $300 is enough for me to get to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is a country in West Africa. It's a French-speaking country, and that's a stop that you would have to go from Liberia, you stop there, and then you take that flight from Ivory Coast to New York. So I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the flight to Ivory Coast, and then once I get to Ivory Coast, I'm gonna I'm gonna go to the airport and let the get on the camera and things like that, and then I'm gonna go to the American Embassy and tell them that someone came up to me and they said they could help me get to America and help me get my ticket or whatever the case may be. So being it was a French speaking country, there were no agents from the airlines to help me, and I just gave my money, to this guy who said he can help me get a ticket or whatever the case may be. And that's the story I went and told the counselor at the American Embassy. So when I first told the counselor my story, he wasn't buying it. He shut the door in my face. So eventually, about maybe 20, 30 minutes later, he opens the door and he said, "Come in," because I'm an American citizen. I knew the laws by staying in Liberia that they can't leave American citizens stranded. So I told him, I stuck to my story, and eventually, like, "Where's your mom? Where's your dad?" I told him my dad was in Liberia. There's no way you can contact him, and my mom, she was just going to my sister's graduation at the time. So long story short, he was like, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bill your mom because you're a juvenile, and we're going to buy your ticket and put you in a hotel for about a week because that's the only available flight, maybe a week from now, and she's going to be responsible for your flight." So they called my mom and let them know that I'm here stranded in Ivory Coast, and I'll be coming soon. My mom, I know she was heated. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't do nothing with this boy."
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's how it happened. And to fast forward, the reason why I came up with that scheme was because I left out when I first came to Liberia. My passport was taken. This guy had took advantage of me because, like I said, that was a French speaking country. And I had stopped there. When my parents told me that I was going to make a stop, they just told me I was going to, get a ticket and be able to, get back on the flight or whatever. But it was not what they told me. First of all, when I got there, it's a French-speaking country. Everybody's speaking French. I don't understand anything they're telling me. I mean, they're saying. So a guy seen me, and I stood out from the crowd. And of course, he's saying that I stuck out like a sore thumb. So I was basically his victim. So he said, "Hey, I can help you get a ticket and have you a flight that leaves tomorrow." So he made me at ease. He changed my American money, which I had no clue on how to go about doing that. He changed my American money to their money, which I believe they call it CFA money in the Ivory Coast. And he he got me a hotel and everything. I gave him the money and things like that. So he made me comfortable. But long story short, he said, "All right, now give me your passport. Let me go get your flight." So my unexperienced behind gives him my passport, and he runs off with it. And I stayed in the cab. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened when I first got to Africa. So that's why that scheme went well with my story when I went to go tell the American Embassy that I was stranded, for the second time or whatever. So moving on. So when I get back to America in 95, I was back, and my first day, I got $20 worth of crack cocaine from my friend, and I eventually started a drug empire. At the age of 16, I was doing real good. I was doing better than most of the adults in my neighborhood, and
when you're in Liberia, are you talking to your boys back home while you were there in Liberia for that year?
Yeah, I was talking to them. I told them because I didn't mention it, but I was playing basketball for my school in Liberia. So, I had a big game, and I kept in touch with my guys that was, in school that was still on the right route. And, I told them, I was telling them about my basketball games, my experience, because what I left out and I should have, mentioned, I went through poverty in Liberia too, and that made me stronger, So I must mention that. And I went through a lot, I went through poverty, and it made me,
Now, when you say poverty, what do you mean poverty in Liberia?
Okay, so like I said, Liberia was in a civil war, so we went through. I was living with my dad, so my dad wasn't making too much money. In Liberia, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful place, but keep in mind at this time we're in civil war, so
Gotcha.
people are working, but they're working for chump change. Like
I got you.
the average person, for example, to give you an idea, the average person, especially at that time, they probably working for a month. They probably working for $50 to $75, the most $100 a month.
Yeah.
So basically, we wouldn't have food to eat sometimes, and some days, if we did eat, we probably just ate one meal a day.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So me, being though that I was born in America, I never experienced anything like that. It was very it was just a struggle. It was the most struggle that I ever had in my life. But like I said, it made me to the relentless great man that I am today. So I'm glad that I went through that. The poverty I went through. They didn't have any lights at the time, like in most areas. They had light current, but most of the current was coming from generators. So I had to experience, like when I did my homework and stuff like that at night, I had to use candles.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, as you know, I'm coming from where we have lights. You turn on the lights, you turn on the lights, you turn off the light with a switch.
Mm-hmm.
I went from turning on the light to using a candle, putting fire to a candle for light. So that's some of the things that I've been through, and like I said, we didn't have much food to eat at times, and we had to go to family members and stuff like that to get food. I remember one memorable moment where my dad wrote a note to my uncle, and I had to take that note to him. And basically, I don't know if I read it. I don't want to lie, but I don't think I read it though. But matter of fact, I don't think I read it, but I already knew what was in the note. You know what I mean? I'm the messenger. So basically, because my uncle gave me the money. So basically, I'm pretty sure in the note, he probably was like, hey man, right now I'm struggling, I got my son. It's rough on us right now. At that time, we didn't have anything to eat. So that was a memorable moment that I'll never forget. Like, I mean, the average person probably, I ain't even going to say that, but I don't know. I'm just going telling my experience. I never been through that where I got to send a note to someone to be able to go, see if they have some money to be able to eat. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was a memorable moment, man. And that's an example of poverty if I really, really went in depth about it, Mr. Kevin.
So you get back home, and
Mm-hmm.
you just mentioned that as soon as you land, you're getting $20. You got $20.
Oh yeah, so soon I land, actually my mom had gave me some money to, buy back then we call it a hookup.
Yep.
She gave me some money to buy a hookup, which means an outfit. So back then we call it a hookup. So she gave me the money, to buy a hookup or whatever. I think like 2 days, 2 outfits or whatever, and I bought some Reeboks at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that the outfit or whatever, and like I said, my homeboy gave me $20 worth of crack cocaine that first day, and I created an empire off of that. So I started. I was hustling like all day, every day, and I was on my grind because I had to start from the bottom. just imagine if I'm starting with $20 worth of crack cocaine, that's nothing.
Yep.
But that's the type of person I am. I'm, determined, relentless, and very optimistic. So, like I said, I created an empire at 16, and I'm doing better than most of the guys and the older guys in the neighborhood.
Now, when you say empire, what constitutes an empire now for you?
Well, first of all, is legit. let's
Okay.
be clear. Yeah, yeah, and basically a cash flow of money where you you paying your bills, you taking care of your family, and you have extra money to invest, into other other legit investments. And
Wait, no, so okay, maybe I lost something. So you're saying you built an empire you started to build an empire at 16?
yeah, basically a drug empire.
But that's not legit though.
Yeah, but I'm just using. Yeah, and I'm glad you said.
Because you're building this drug empire, and I'm saying what constitutes a drug empire? I mean, what are you doing? You're doing like I don't even know the lingo. And I don't even know that
let me.
So I mean, were you doing like $1,000 a day? You're doing $20,000.
Oh,
a day?
okay. So let me explain. So like I said, I started from the bottom, right?
Yep.
So I'm nickel and diamond at first.
Okay.
So I started maybe 3-4 months. Then I started selling weight. So at the the peak of this empire around this time, when I started selling weight and things like that, I'm making, let's say maybe $30,000-$40,000 a day.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm selling weight. Okay. And when I would go to New York, I probably would at least go to New York with 30, 40,000, 50,000, things like that. So when I go,
you would drive up or catch the train to New York?
Sometimes, yeah, I would, catch the train, and then, I would have drug users, whatever, bring it back. Mm-hmm. I would pay them to bring it back. Sometimes I would get a ride in a car, to go up New York, and then most of the time, I would get it back through the train or whatever, or maybe pay somebody to drive it back.
And now how long did this last?
Now, as I'm going, at this time, this is, like I said, I'm making 40, 50,000, 60,000, stuff like that. This is me as a kid. So they're different heights of my life and selling drugs that I'm going to get to. This is just the beginning, So this is 95. So to fast forward, I started getting arrested a lot because I was a juvenile. So finally, I go to the youth house for the first time in 95. So fast forward, as I start to continue to sell drugs. 96 is when I first had my first shootout. So when I say shootout, I'm talking about guns. The reason why that became a shootout was a guy had robbed one of my homeboys, and I didn't like it. He was an OG from Downley Homes, and I didn't like it or whatever. And I told him, I said, man, we had gotten into an argument. And I said, let's fight. And he said, I don't do no fighting. I shoot. So he later on, I had made sure I had my gun on me, and he had shot at me. Later on, he had shot at me, and then right then and there, I started shooting back, and he was running. So that was my first shootout.
Now,
and
let me ask. I find this crazy, but I also find this interesting, right? And so as you are beginning to sell weight and as your empire is growing, you said, I now have to get a gun?
I've been had a gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been had a gun. I just, didn't elaborate about it, but yeah, I had a gun. You know what I'm saying? I definitely had a gun.
And so the gun was part of the business package. You had to have a gun to protect yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm in the jungle, so
Gotcha.
I'm in the jungle, and there were wolves and lions out there that definitely wanted what was yours and wanted what you were making, and you had to basically protect the product and your life from what you were your product and
Now,
your life.
now, so now when you're selling weight and you're doing the 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a day, are you still living on Trent Street? On Trent Street?
Yes,
And,
yes, I'm still living with my mom. Yeah.
and does she not notice anything different about you and about your money? And how do you?
She yeah, she noticed. She noticed. She knew that I was out there in the streets making money, because one time I didn't say, but one day when I got arrested, and I got arrested and I went to the youth house, I had about $5,000 under my mattress. So I was I was in the youth house, and of course that day I didn't plan on getting arrested or whatever. So I'm in the youth house, and I called her to try to. I had my friend come there to pick the money up or whatever. Long story short, my mom had took the money, and she took it. You know.
Got you.
So yeah. So
Got
she
you.
knew. Yeah, she knew I was she knew I was selling drugs.
But I mean, did she ever say something like, "You got all this money, you got to move out the house"? Did she ever say things like that to you?
Yeah, I took my mom through hell. I didn't elaborate on that either, but I took my mom through hell. She definitely did, but being though I was her only son, it would she would say it for the time, and then it would go away. But I ended up staying there though. But
Wow.
we went through a lot.
Wow.
It's nothing that I'm proud of, and I'm not bragging about. But I took her through a lot.
Okay. So now,
And
we
so
when we were prepping for this, you had talked about um, how the feds caught hold of your drug dealing operation. Take us
right.
to that point and start us from that point, so that we could get into that part, and then get into the other business that you also started, the other legitimate business that you started.
Okay. So what I will do that, but what I want to say, can I tell you about the 4 tips on my life, because that is very instrumental
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
to my story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So fast forward, I had basically changed my life, and basically 2001 I had caught my first adult charge in '99, and I got sentenced to 5 years probation for my first adult charge, and I had got like 3 months in the drug program. So I came home working, and for local 30 roofers union, and basically that didn't go well with me. I didn't like it or whatever, and I started selling CDs, bootleg CDs. But I started doing real good with that, and there was a time where just on selling CDs, I had made about $80,000. So I went from selling CDs, DVDs, and then clothes.
Got
So
you.
fast forward. Go ahead.
No, I said got you. I'm listening.
Okay, so fast forward, 2004, trouble comes my way. I'm selling my clothes on a notorious block in Trenton, New Jersey, and these 2 guys, basically approach me, and one of them tells me to give it up. Now they call me Unksco on the street, so he said, "Give it up, Unksco." I told him, I had about like 5,000 on me at that time, so I used to make about maybe like 5,000 a day tops. On a slow day, maybe about 2,500. Because like I said, I'm selling clothes, DVDs, and CDs at the time. So I told the guy, I said, "You gotta bust me." So, in better words, I told him, you got to shoot me. So I called his bluff, and he didn't shoot me. And I ended up getting out of there where they didn't take anything from me. But as I drove off, the guy hit my window, the driver's window, with his gun, and my whole window shattered.
Yep.
So basically I left, I got away, and I'm irate, I'm heated. So fast forward, I catch one of the guys because I knew, where he lived at. He lived around the corner from where I grew up at. So I shot him, and my intention was to kill him. So the guy survived, and I laid low for a week. And when I came back outside, when I was about to come back outside, and by the way, the guy, he kept it in the streets. We held court on the streets. He didn't, tell authority or anything like that. He was a stand-up guy. So after I lay low for a week, I get a call, and the person says, there's a hit out on your life. Be careful. So I said, okay, thanks. And that was a great tip. That was major. So I said, okay. So I still came outside that day with my gun, my 45, and I was, selling my clothes and things like that. And I'm at this particular light that same day, and I got a drug user with me in the car. She has the gun. So I looked through the rear view for 1 second, and I see somebody running up to my car, to my truck, and he shoots. Boom! Shoots through the back window. The bullet comes, it grazes me, and the first thing I say is, gimme. So she gave me the gun. So I got the gun in my right hand, and my left hand is on the steering wheel. And the first thing is to get up out of there. Mm-hmm. And it's where I'm at. It's 5 o'clock rush hour. So it's traffic, it's bumper to bumper traffic. So I get out of there miraculously, without hitting any cars, and I made it out of there safe. I didn't have to bust back anything because God was with me. I don't know why he only shot once. I don't know if it's his gun jam or whatever, but I got out of there safely. So anyway, so this started the war. Me against the guy was a blood, by the way.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so this started the war with me and this particular set of bloods in Trenton. So I'm at war, with against these hundreds and hundreds of these guys, and it was 3 more attempts on my life. But just to sum the story up, each time after these 3 times, each time I reversed the situation, and I was always on point, and I was shooting back at these guys, and I always made them run. You know what I mean? Because I'm shooting back. They didn't expect, to be getting shot at. They was expecting to come kill a person, and that was the mission, and that was it. But unfortunately, it didn't go that way. And I just want to dive into the third attempt. The third attempt, it was some little kids, and I was me and my homeboy were going to a liquor store on off of South Broad Street, and 4 young kids. At the time, this was 2006. They were young. I'd probably say they were maybe 14 or 15. And they ran up on me. And they had a older guy. He's probably my age at the time. And I would say we for a word to describe him in street slang, that was their big homie. So I guess he set it up. So when they ran up on me, I pulled my 45 out on them so fast, their heads were spinning. They didn't even get a chance to do what they were going to do. But what I did was I pulled out on them. I said, "Don't make no move. I will blow y'all heads off." So I was composed. I wasn't scared. Basically, I say that to say I'm bringing this up because God had a vision for me. God had a vision for me, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep you composed. I'm gonna have you, because I'm a fearless individual. So he said, I'm not a scared man would have killed those 4 kids and that guy, their big homie. You know what I'm saying? Because when you running up on somebody, your intentions, especially in that kind of situation, your intentions is to kill them. So they're gonna blast, blast first and ask questions last. And in streets, we had a phrase where we say the first to draw lays the law. And I was the first to draw, but I didn't lay my law because God had a vision. And, he said, listen, you're going to, go through what you're going to go through, and you're going to change a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, God didn't allow me to kill those guys at that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, moving on. So basically, I just wanted to say that. So I was going through that. I was at war with these guys, from 2004 all the way up to my incarceration by the FBI. So this is what happened. Basically, I had another run, selling cocaine, kilograms of cocaine from California, marijuana and kilograms of cocaine. So at my height, I'm basically I had a stash box in my Jeep, because I'm elaborating and giving you the short version of the story real quick. So in my Jeep, I had a stash box that would basically fit 10 kilograms of cocaine. So I used to get those kilograms of cocaine for $23 a gram, which meant that's for 10, that's $230,000. So I would, at the time, the price was $40 a gram in Trenton. So basically, I would sell it, for $40 a gram or whatever the case may be. So long story short, you take 40 take away 23, that's 17,000 off of each kilogram. So I was making $170,000 profit every 3 to 4 days. Anyone that knows my name, and I'm telling facts, can Google me and they'll see that I had a situation where, people that were involved with what I was involved with got caught with 8 kilograms of cocaine in my Jeep. You know what I mean? So I'm not just making anything up. I'm speaking facts. Just so happened that day I only copped 8 kilograms. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, usually I get 10. So anyway, moving forward, the case was people, that was in my circle end up getting caught with 8 kilograms coming from California, with 8 kilograms or whatever. So that led them to getting arrested or whatever. And I had another situation where, some people, got caught with like 3 kilograms on a highway in Philadelphia. We had made a move coming back through the airport from California. And then, the people that had the 3 kilograms, they were on Highway 95, and they got caught. So basically, those 2 incidents allowed, investigation on me and things like that. And then after this second incident, the feds came in and got me about 6 or 7 months after these people had got arrested on 95, Highway 95 South. So basically, 6-7 months later, the FBI arrested me at Philadelphia International Airport. I had about 20,000 on me at the airport, and that was my demise, and that was which led to me getting 15 years in federal prison.
Wow. So at no point while you're traveling and you're wheeling and dealing do you think that this could be my last day, that somebody's going to catch me? Is that prominent in your mind, or you're not thinking that?
Put like this, every day there was a thought that I could get caught. Gotcha. But I'm gonna speak for myself. The mentality that I had then, I was in it to win it. And I had the mentality, I pay up when they catch up.
Gotcha.
So So that led to my, like I said, me getting 15 years in federal prison. I did my time. I was fighting. I was fighting. I was putting in appeals, and I was kept getting denied. I was getting a lot of no's. Then finally, God blessed me in 2020, where I won my both. I won both of my appeals. First, I won the home confinement, and then the next thing I won my second appeal, which was the gateway opener for that was because of COVID. And then also some things, I did over 40 programs, and, my judge believed in me. He's seen that, I was rehabilitated and things like that. So that led to me getting compassionate release. Mm-hmm. And that's what allowed me to, get immediate release in October 23rd, 2020.
So
I came home because
up until that point, how much time had you served?
I had served about 11 years.
Wow. So while you're in the feds for 11 years, what are some of the programs that you're involved in? What's your whole thinking process at that time while you're in prison?
I had by then I had got 2 certifications for fitness training. I had took a lot of business course programs, on behavior. Cognitive thinking, cognitive behavior programs. Just a lot of programs to enhance my thinking, and a lot of financial literacy programs.
Got you.
And also at the time, so 4 years, I was paying out of pocket. I was doing correspondent college courses as well. I end up, end up dropping out of college because I had an epiphany, like, hey, you know what? Just this college thing is not for me. I need to focus more on, business. So I stopped that, but I did do college, and that was great. That took up a lot of my time, and I did it for 4 years. No. So I kept myself busy. I was very productive.
Now,
I used my time wisely.
My question is: so you're in prison for 11 years. Is your mother, your father, your sister? Are they coming to see you? Are they coming to visit you?
So my father passed in 2000. So
okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So my mom was coming to see me. Mm-hmm. But I want to say the first 5 years she was coming to see me, but then I guess she would make excuses like her leg, which is probably her leg, but I can understand. She probably got tired of coming through, because when you come through you visit someone, you got to go through the metal detector, the COs. You got some COs, man. No disrespect to COs, because you got some good COs, but mm-hmm. COs, they just make your family try to make the family life miserable, and of course they try to make the inmates life miserable as well, and they try to make it hard on them. So that was probably a reason why she didn't want to come see me. But I was content with that, though. I didn't want her to keep going through the procedures or whatever, coming to see me or whatever. But yeah, I have my fiance. My fiance stayed in my corner, through most of my entire bid. She was there, so she was coming to visit me. My kids, my 3 kids, they were coming to visit me, throughout the time. And I would have some friends and families come see me, every now and then.
I mean, it's like there's so much I want to ask, and I don't even know if I should ask it. I don't even know, man.
Ask me anything, Mr. Kevin.
Okay, here we go.
I'm an open book.
Okay, no, I certainly do appreciate that, but so and I need to understand this, right? So here you are, you're running, you're gunning, you're slinging, and you have time to lay down with a woman that have 3 kids. how does that? I mean, that sounds so ignorant on my part. How does that happen when you're saying I want to bring forth kids? I want them to. How does that happen?
Okay, so well, I have three different baby moms. So my first baby mom and first kid, he's from Liberia.
Okay.
So when I first went to Liberia, that's how that came about. When I found out that my son's mother was pregnant when I came back to America the first time.
Got you.
Yeah, and I eventually brought my son over after the paperwork and everything was done, and he ended up getting his visa. He finally came to America in 2008, and that was before I went to prison, and I had full custody of him. So my daughter, she was born in '97, and me and her mom were in a relationship. And just of course I was selling drugs throughout the time, because what you probably don't know is I basically sold drugs from 1993 basically all the way up to 2010.
Yeah, I got that out. I'm doing the math, but I'm just saying, because I'm trying to understand. You're running, you're gunning, you're slinging, you're hot, man. You're hot.
Yes.
And
right. So,
but so on one hand, you're saying I'm not even sure if I'm going to be here tomorrow, to live, right? But then you find time to lay with a woman to have a family, knowing that you may not be here tomorrow to provide for that child. I'm trying to understand all that.
Right, and let me break it down to you. So yes, you're exactly right. That was the mentality that I had. I could be here today and gone tomorrow, and unfortunately, that was the lifestyle that I lived.
Gotcha.
And in hindsight now, I would first of all, I tell women, first of all, don't date the old me, right?
Gotcha.
So that was that was the lifestyle that I was living. And basically, I had my kids during this lifestyle that I made. And of course I can't take it back, but I wasn't thinking, about how the downfalls of having my kids living this lifestyle.
Yes. Yes.
So it basically caused a lot of harm to me and them, with me basically bringing them into this or having them while I was in that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And the mentality that I had, I wasn't thinking like, hey, how are you going to raise kids and you're living dangerous like you are?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to give you the thinking that I had at that time when I was living that lifestyle. I really didn't think about it. Hey, how am I going to bring kids into this world and I'm living dangerous?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me, I didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that answers you.
No, that answers my question. I was just curious. So, and I didn't want to say it in a disrespectful manner.
No. That's a great no, because once we end, then you'll that's the old thinking, and that's my old mentality that I had, compared to now the evolution and the new person that I am. Like I said, I'll tell women, don't date the old me.
Yeah.
And you can see, the transition that I've made. And with you asking that question, I could never condone anyone close, my daughter or anyone close to me or any woman in the world to date, the old me.
Mm-hmm.
Because as like you're asking this question, how could a person in their real state of mind want to have kids the way they are living, the way I'm living, because I speak for myself, the
Yeah.
way I was living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a great question. No, that's a great question.
Now,
And
so when you're doing your motivational speaking, right, and you're talking to young men and women, what are some of the things that you share with them to kind of encourage them to seek and to find, other ways?
okay, so first of all, one of the most important things I tell them is you have to have self control. Don't be stupid like me. I was very irrational. You see, that situation where I shot that guy, and that started a war in my life with the Bloods.
Yep.
That was because I was irrational. So I use that example. Do not be stupid like me. You have to have self control. You have to. I really explain to them, like, even if you're in the right, if you respond irrationally, you're wrong. So, and what I mean, I break it down to them, and what I mean by that is sometimes you have to just let things go. Where I'm from, we're so used to not letting things go.
Got you.
We a lot of us have. I could speak about myself. I had a chip on my shoulder because I was getting bullied. So once I got to a point in life where I told myself I'm not taking no more shorts. And what I meant by that is, if I have an argument, I'm not letting nobody win that argument. And then that argument more than likely can lead into a fight, if not a shootout.
Got you.
I'm not letting nobody take nothing from me. If you take something from me and I know who you are, there's consequences. More like I'm going to shoot you. So basically, I'm just giving you an example of I had that I'm not taking no shorts mentality. That's where I come from. That's the mentality that a lot of people have. And I'm telling the kids, listen, that mentality is foolish and is very destructive. You know what I'm saying? So I let them know that's, you know what I'm saying? Get that thought out your head, get that mentality, out your life, out your mind. Don't be foolish like me. So like I said, to sum it up, first and foremost, you have to have self-control, because if you don't have self-control, you can build an empire and you can lose it. You can lose it all within 1 second.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the main things I tell them. And then also I tell them, you have to be patient. Don't be fooled by illegal activity. Like I was saying about instant gratification. I tell them about my journey, the things that I've been through. And I tell them, like, look at my life now where, because I work where one thing I didn't say is I work at Amazon. So I'm living check to check. I haven't, my business, I haven't made my first deal yet. I haven't made any money from it yet. I've started it, but I haven't made any money yet. So basically my livelihood is from my main job, which is Amazon.
No.
So I'm working.
No, I got that, but I guess the other part I want to ask before we move into that is when you were talking about the peer pressure and the bullying, and it was in your neighborhood, and this is what you saw. For any young person who has that type of challenge, how do they avoid that? If you don't have like outside community leaders looking in, how do you avoid that? How do you avoid that no way in, not no way in, but no win situation, that trap?
Okay, so my advice to the youth about the bullying and things like that, like, it goes back to self-control, right? First of all, you have to have self-control, because like I said, when I got bullied by Billy Boy, I had a lot of frustration in me from getting bullied, and I took it out on him and I hit him, right? So first of all, you have to have self-control, right? So and then another thing is I would tell them, go, get yourself or tell the parents, get them into self-defense, whether it's boxing or karate or whatever, that builds your confidence, right? So with bullying, right, you can and why I'm pretty sure when they're being taught, these self defense techniques and things like that, they're going to tell you don't just use these techniques or whatever. For example, let's say you're playing basketball and someone push you or whatever, right? And if you don't know how to fight, you probably, basically, you're gonna let it go, and you're gonna feel, taken advantage of, right? But let's say you've been going to the gym or learning karate, and they tell you, hey, listen, these things, do not use these things unless you really, really, really have to.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say, you have, you're very skilled at karate or boxing, and this person pushed you, but you probably can give them a good fight or probably can beat them. So that's where it goes back to self-control. And let's say you do get pushed, but you let it slide. I would tell them, let it slide, because in your mind what you probably can do to this person. But there's a difference where you don't know how to fight and you just let it go. But there's a difference where you know what you're capable of doing, but you let it slide and you don't react irrational, like how I reacted foolishly in certain situations in my life.
Gotcha.
If I'm explaining it,
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where that can help them with the bullying, because where I came from, it was, if somebody hit you, you hit them back. But to me, that's kind of that way of how I learned, how I grew up. I don't condone that. You know what I mean? I basically, hey, listen, unless you really, really have to, and unless you really have to, that's when you have to defend yourself and hit someone. But if it's not life threatening, someone push you or something like that, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go, because let's say, for example, if you're trained, like I tell the kids, if you're trained, in karate or boxing or whatever, and you do something to this person, and God forbid, you hurt them real bad, or even get worse than that, you kill them, then you're the loser. So what I tell the kids is you have to look at things like that, because things happen in life, man. You know what I mean? And that's how to sum it up, I would say, tell the parents, get them into self-defense classes or whatever. Now, another question I know you probably would want to ask, well, what if they can't get into self-defense classes, and what do they do if they get bullied or whatever the case may be? Then I would say, you got to use your mind. You know what I mean? Maybe try to talk to the person or whatever. Because sometimes, what I do now, like to avoid conflict and stuff, like I talk to people. Hey, my brother, what's going on? How can I make, what did I do to you? Or like, how can I, make things better with me and you or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Get the, because that was never a tactic taught to me.
Mm-hmm.
About if someone's bullying or whatever. I never taught. The only thing that was taught, hit them back.
Yeah.
A good thing was like, ask the bully, like, try to talk to him. Like, hey man, what's going on, man? Why you keep messing with me, my brother? Like, can I talk to you for a second? Maybe a conversation might could break the ice.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things, I mean? I could, I would have to sit up and write, write down, but there's plenty of ways to try to go about how can, a kid go about getting bullied, you know what I mean? And these are just some of the things I would say,
So now that you're out and you're working on Amazon, you're working on your other business, how important is mentorship for you?
Right now, mentorship is very important.
Mm-hmm.
But however, I must be honest. Like I'm, like I said, I was away for 11 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a man of my word. So I haven't, taken on the the responsibility of getting any mentoring anyone yet. I'm starting, like I said, I'm starting out with doing speaking engagements and things like that right now because I'm a man of my word. I don't want to, say, hey, I want to do mentoring where I know I don't have the time to do mentoring because
I'm not talking about you doing a mentoring. I'm saying, do you have a mentor while you're going through this new process of who you are?
Oh, yes. I actually, I have several mentors, that I, have in my life. Yeah, definitely.
And again, you still could do mentoring, because mentoring is not so much a set time. It's the fact that you make yourself available for a person that may need you. So,
and you're right. You're totally right.
Yeah, that's all. So now, so you're at Amazon. You're doing the wholesale business for the house buying or home buying. And what was the other project that you're wanting to work on or start?
Actually, I didn't talk about it. I wrote a book called Tax Lien Certificates.
Yes.
I wrote that book in prison, and I self-published it myself. My fiance, she helped me with that, while I was in prison. And basically, it's on Amazon. It's called Tax Lien Certificates, and I'm basically promoting that book. And I'll eventually, once things get better for me financially, I'll be investing in tax lien certificates myself.
Got you.
So yeah, so I have that on Amazon, and that's actually one of my businesses. It's under my company. That's a business that I started. It's called Baker International Publishing.
Yes.
LLC.
And so that's where you do all your book publishing under that heading.
Yeah, I've only written one book so far, but I'll be writing more books. Of course, I'm definitely going to write a autobiography, but as of now, I've only written one book.
Now, before we wrap things up, any shout outs that you want to give to anyone?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
First and foremost, I want to shout out my coach Dillard, my freshman coach. Coach Dillard, he believes in me. Actually, he referred me to a old player that he had coached also by the name of Maurice Coleman.
Yes.
And he connected me. He connected me and Maurice Coleman, and since we've met, over the phone, me and Maurice have been, in touch with each other. And I definitely want to shout out Maurice Coleman. He's the one, who connected me with you.
Yes.
So I really appreciate him for, reaching out to you to make this thing happen. And, it's an honor, Like I said, I've sat here and told my story.
Yes.
Actually, I come from, standing on corners and being around, thugs and gangsters. And here it is now, I'm around, successful, positive people like yourself, Mr. Kevin, Maurice Coleman. And it's an honor that I still, left a great impression with my coach Dillard after all these years. He was my coach from 1993. So, man, I feel blessed, man. It really, makes me feel good,
Absolutely.
So I definitely want to shout out, Maurice Coleman, Coach Dillard. I also want to shout out Anthony Bush because I was introduced to Anthony by Maurice Coleman, and he's a great young man. Maurice introduced me to Anthony Bush. He's actually Anthony Bush he's from Chicago, but he lives here in Baltimore, and he's the first lobbyist that I know and that I'm close with.
Got
So
you.
I want to shout him out too, man. We're great friends now.
Got you.
So
Got you.
yeah, man. And of course, I want to shout out my fiance, Tayshawn Snow. She's been there, from the beginning, man. We've been through a lot. She was there through my entire journey while I was incarcerated up to now. So definitely want to shout her out. She's my rock. Shot my three kids out, James Baker, Sundasia Baker, and Rayvon Baker. Of course, my mother,
Yes.
my two sisters, Etna and One Way Baker. And there's a whole list of other people, man. But I'm just thankful for these great people, to be in my lives. And there's a lot of people that want to see me win,
Yes.
and I really really appreciate them for believing in me.
Well, brother, I'm just meeting you as a result of this interview, and I too want to see you win, and just so grateful for the information that you are sharing with me and what you're sharing with other folks, man. Just keep it going, brother. Just keep it going.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Kevin. It was definitely a pleasure, coming on to your platform, your
Yes, sir.
podcast,
Yes,
and
sir.
I definitely really really appreciate it.
So, so,
It feels good, to you really took me back down that journey, and me, telling the story, it's an honor,
well, first of all, man, thank you for allowing me to share your story and to kind of stop you and to kind of ask questions, because I want to make sure that as you're telling your story, right, there's parts of it that folks are not really understanding, and I wanted to make sure that it was clear. And one of the questions that I always had was the one that I just asked you. What is the mindset at that time when you're selling drugs? You're building your empire, but you also want to have a family. Like, what's the mindset? And you kind of shared what that mindset is. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope I answered the question.
No. So I think that you did,
Okay.
what we'll do is when we go to drop the episode, right? We'll
Hmm.
make sure that if people want to continue the conversation with you, that they'll have your contact information, an email or a cell phone number, and they can call you, with your permission and continue the conversation, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you did say you wanted to be an open book, so we want to make sure that people have that ability to do so.
Okay. I definitely also Mr. Kevin, before I forget,
Yep.
I want to shout out my boy Dion Chu.
Yes.
I went to speak to Dion Chu. Dion Chu has a organization. Shout out to Gym Work Training. He has an organization. He has some AAU teams, basketball teams that he has, and I went to go speak to them last month. So despite me going to talk to his players, which were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, he recommended me to this event. He recommended me to his mentor, Mr. Teller. Mr. Teller is a teacher at Trenton High.
Yes.
So Mr. Teller's having a male empowerment event at Trenton High February 23rd, and I'll be one of the keynote speakers. So I definitely want to shout out Mr. Dion Chu for giving me that opportunity, man. That means the world to me.
Absolutely. So you'll be in Trenton in February.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, I do come to Trenton often.
Okay.
So yeah, February 23rd, I'll be at Trenton High, and I'll be speaking to about 300 to 400 male students.
Awesome.
So it'll be the biggest speech of my life.
Awesome. And I know you're going to be impactful, brother, because a lot of those kids are going to be listening to your words, and your voice are going to be coming from and know a lot of the areas there that you were talking about.
Exactly. Definitely.
Brother, you have been fantastic, man. Let's stay connected. I want to wish you nothing but continued success, man.
All right. Likewise, myself, Mr. Kevin, I wish you, all the blessings and
Yes,
much success and happiness to you and your family.
thank you, brother. You and I, we're going to stay connected. So certainly when you do come to town, we'll definitely meet with you face to face.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Talk in a minute, brother. Be well.
All right. You too.
Yes, sir.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.